Hi everyone, I'm Dan Cassette, coming to you from the Cambridge Sports Center with an intermediate level Pilates class. If you are unfamiliar with Pilates, I encourage you to also find the other Pilates recording which has more foundational techniques into it. The amount of exercise that you get is probably going to be roughly the same because all the exercises are designed to target and work the muscles in question very well, but the positions that you end up in an intermediate course end up being a little bit more challenging. So if you're unsure, I recommend finding the other video. But let's get started. In parallel alignment, just want you to begin standing with your tailbone lined up right over the arches of both feet in the middle, and then standing up tall through your spine. We're going to warm up briefly just by rolling down. So I want you to release your chin to your chest. Take a nice deep breath and let it go as you roll down through the middle back. Soften your knees as you get to the lumbar spine and hang upside down. Then from here, breathe in, exhale, and feel your ab muscles hug around your middle, pulling the belly button up to your spine to bring you back up through the tailbone, lower back, middle back, upper back, neck and head. We're going to repeat with a nice deep breath in. Exhale and release the cranium, the cervical spine, the thoracic spine, the lumbar spine, softening the knees. Take a deep breath. Exhale, pull the abdominals up and around your waist. This is the abdominis transversus. It works like a belt horizontally across your midsection, and let it roll you back up. Take another inhale. Exhale and roll down through the vertebrae. Bend the knees. Try to find a nice even sequence from tailbone through lower back, through middle back, through upper back as you come. The last thing to unfurl is the neck and the head. And we're going to use the last roll down to transfer us down to the floor. Taking your hands down, bend your knees and move down to a crouch. From there, you're going to be able to move onto the floor. Hopefully you have a mat, a nice cushy towel or carpet that you can use. Make sure there's some space behind you and roll down to the floor. From here, I want you to just begin with your arms open to a T. You should have a natural gap that happens between your lower back and the floor. It's your lumbar curve, keeping the ribs soft. Engage your abs down, feel them press flat. Use that strength to bring one leg up to a tabletop position, 90 degrees from the hip, 90 degrees at the knee. Inhale, exhale, and bring up the other leg. You're going to just hold here with the legs together, your shins creating a tabletop. Then we're going to twist, a little spine twist, supine. You're going to rotate to one side, keeping your shoulder blades on the ground, and lift that hip that's coming up so that the knees remain the same length and one doesn't slide out longer than the other. Then as you exhale, feel the abs hug flat across your center and bring you home to the middle. You're going to change, moving to the other side. Take a nice deep breath, guys. Exhale, pull the abdominals back towards you to return to neutral. Here we go. Over to the first side. Keeping the shoulder blades wide and flat, belly to spine, return neutral, and rotate again. Exhale, return. Let's do one more each side. Make sure that you're able to breathe freely in the diaphragm while the abdominals are holding you firm and strong down low around the middle of your trunk. You're also going to get a little bit of your obliques here, the side muscles, which also comprise your core. Come back to neutral and just have a little moment. I want you to reach for your knees and catch hold. You can really press down with your palms so that energy is going straight down the bone from the knee, down the femur to the hip. Flatten the abdominals for a nice strong connection and press your lumbar into the floor as you bring your chest up into a lift. Your shoulder blades want to come off the mat if possible, and the neck is really relaxed because you've come up high enough that there's less pressure on the neck muscles. From here, you're going to keep your belly flat. I want you to extend your arms and legs away from each other on an inhale. So, inhale, exhale, swim down around and re-grab the knees with a nice firm circle of the arms, keeping your chest lifted. Inhale, exhale. This is a double leg stretch. We're starting off with a nice strong ab series to get the abs and major muscles of the core working and warm. Keep your lumbar flat on the floor. You can make it a little easier by sending your legs higher to the ceiling, or you can make it more challenging by sending your legs lower. Now hold on firm to one knee and stretch the other leg out in a single leg stretch. Belly remains flat and the chest stays at a consistent height. You inhale as the knees are passing, exhale as the legs extend. Try to keep the feet at the same level. Good, we're not done with the series yet. I want you to now keep the legs going, but lace your fingertips behind your head and rotate the elbow to the closer knee. Catch both knees, lower your torso down, walk your feet to the floor, and rest. You can have a neutral spine here, but I want you to extend both legs all the way out so that you can allow the hip flexors to open as well. Now from here, walk your feet back in, and we're going to move into the classic hundreds. So for this one, start with the same setup, the abdominals flat and strong, neutral spine. Walk one leg up to your tabletop position. Exhale to secure the abdominals and your lower back and walk up the other leg. You're going to grab onto your knees. Then from here, I want you to let the chest fall back and you're going to lie down with the upper body holding a neutral spine. Inhale. As you exhale, press your arms through and extend your legs, lifting your chest. Get another breath in, and as you exhale, pump the arms down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Keep that going. Your lumbar wants to stay flat to the floor. If that's hard, lift your legs a little higher to reduce the pressure. If you're ready for more challenge, lower the legs down. Let's do one more set. Out. In. And catch the knees. Good. Have a moment to walk the feet down and lie your chest back to the floor and stretch out in neutral spine. From here, guys, just want us to bring one knee up towards us for one more ab workout. You're going to stretch that leg to the sky. You're keeping the long leg flat on the floor and straight. The top leg, if you can straighten it, is fine, but it's okay if it's a little tight and you need it to bend. Take your hands like you're reading a book behind the top leg. Belly flat. Lift your chest and gently pull the hamstring towards you. Then, keep your core nice and strong. Switch the legs. Press down with the far heel. So you've got a nice opening of both legs and you're getting yourself a hamstring pull. From here, you're going to switch. Engage your abs deeper as you exhale to pulse, pulling with the abdominals more than the arms. And switch, pulse deeper. Switch, pulse deeper. Switch, pulse deeper. Switch, pulse deeper. Keep that going. You can push down off the opposite heel on the floor. And for a little extra work, take your fingers behind your head and add a crisscross. Don't pulse with the upper body though, pulse with the abs to bring the leg closer to you. One more. And bend. Lie down chest, walk down feet, release the hands, and stretch out your legs to rest. All right. From here, I want you to roll to your side, press away from the floor, and we're going to come up towards seated so that we can switch our legs behind us. We're just going to move to all fours. Hands under the shoulders, shoulders wide, collarbone open, and knees underneath the hips. We're going to stretch like a cat. So your abs activate around your middle first. The muscles of the abs are going to lift so that the skeleton changes. The hip bones are going to lift upwards towards the ceiling. They're now higher than your pubic bone, which is known as a posterior tilt of the pelvis. Very important principle for correct posture and support. Now relax that to neutral. Maintain your pelvic lumbar stabilization in neutral. But I want you to lift your upper spine, pulling down with the lats so the shoulder blades don't crank up and the neck doesn't twist up to the ceiling. Long neck, lifted spine. Return to neutral. Start with the cat back, lift your abs, pull the hip bones up, get that pelvic tilt for a lumbar stretch with minimal effect on the upper spine. Return to neutral. Now, no effect on the lumbar spine. Pull the shoulder blades down and lift your breastbone to get a nice thoracic extension. Return flat back and repeat. Scoop the belly up, round your lumbar, pull the hip bones away from the floor for your cat back. Return neutral. Hold the shoulder blades down, maintain pelvic lumbar stabilization as you lift your heart, and then let the mid-spine return to neutral. Good. From here, I want you to shift down to your hip and swing your legs round as we prepare for rolling like a ball. If you have any herniated discs or other disc issues, you might want to be careful with this. Perhaps do the cat back stretch a few more times, focusing on the ab control for a nice deep workout there. If you're all right, sit on your bum near the front of your mat and bring your feet close to your spine, or as close to your tailbone as possible. Hold near the ankles and keep the elbows down. Pull the abs in, just like we did in cat stretch. Hip bones retract away from your legs to create a gap here. Keep your toes close to your tailbone. You're going to inhale as you roll back, exhale, and hold your shape as you come to the top. Exhale, return. Inhale, roll back. Exhale, roll forward. Try to keep your heels as close to your tailbone as possible, and don't hunch your neck or shoulders. You have a rounded lumbar to make a smooth roll. Come on up to the top and just hold for a moment. We're going to change to an open leg rocker. The key here is to have straight arms, even if the legs are a little bit bent. But if you can, have straight legs and straight arms. So, grab the outsides of your shins or your ankles and extend your legs out. Sit up nice and tall to create a human V. Your legs can be slightly separated, so they're not directly in front of you. If you need to do bent legs, it's all right to be here. Your feet will form a design a little bit like antlers, and that's fine too. Now, you holding a nice tall V and opening your breastbone wide through the collar. Pull the abs and the hip bones back to create that rounded spine. Roll like a ball. Exhale, and then sit up tall to recreate the flat back and the wide chest. Curve, Exhale, sit up. Inhale, exhale, sit up. Inhale, exhale, nice and tall through the sternum. Inhale, exhale, and rise. Bend both knees and put the feet down. From here, I want you to lower yourself back into the floor, either with your hands or holding one leg. And we're going to do a roll over. Palms down on the floor beside you. Bring one knee up towards tabletop. Secure your center with your abs. Bring up the other knee. Stretch both legs into the sky. Now you're going to allow them to fall away just to 60 degrees, so not even 45. Inhale and lift them back to 90, and as you exhale, use your abs to bring your feet over your face. Push down with your arms and see if you can curl your tailbone off the floor. If you're able, keep rising until you can imagine that you're seated on the ceiling. I don't want to collapse my spine. I want to lengthen my spine to try and lift my sit bones as high to the sky as possible. From here, flex your feet and open your legs to shoulders distance and control your descent. Roll back down slowly through the spine. You can push with your hands for support. When your legs get to 90, point the toes, swoop them down and around until they meet in the middle at 60 degrees. Inhale and rise. Exhale and keep pulling the abdominals deep and firm to bring your tailbone up and over. Sit on the ceiling. Flex your feet and open them. Let them drop a little bit while keeping your tailbone as high to the sky as possible. Roll down evenly. Point the toes at 90, bring the legs back to 60, and we'll repeat. Lift up, exhale, push off the floor, use your abs to scoop your legs up high. If you can't fold over all the way to where you're seated on the ceiling, just hold here and you'll get plenty of work. Hold for a few more seconds, flex and open the legs, and then control the descent down to where your legs hit 90 degrees. Point and swoop the legs down. One last set. Abs engage, belly button to spine to curl the tailbone off the floor, lifting up to your maximum. Flex the feet and open the legs to a small diagonal. Control your descent and swoop away. Bring the legs in and give them a little hug and just hang out on your back for a moment as you rest and relax. Good. All right, put both feet down to the floor. Keep your palms on the floor beside you as well. Now, we're going to start with a pelvic curl. So you'll begin by flattening your abs and bringing your lumbar flat to the floor. The skeleton is changing in that the hip bones drop, you're into your posterior tilt, and that allows your lumbar to press into the mat. Push down with your feet now and think curl your tailbone through your legs, pubic bone towards the nose, and push up with the legs and bum so that your hips rise. And I want to be in a posterior tilt in the sky here, so I'm not releasing to a huge arc. I'm actually tucking my tail through my legs without leaning out with my legs, keeping them parallel. Take a deep breath and roll back down. Shoulders, middle back, lower back, tailbone. Once you're to your tailbone, you can return to a neutral spine for a moment, and then we'll repeat. The abs engage, the hip bones fall down as everything scoops inward. Push down through your feet, press up with your glutes, hold the pelvic curl, and then come down through the spine, one vertebrae at a time. We're going to do it again, but this time I want you to stay at the top. Belly to spine, pelvic curl, rolling up to the shoulder blades. Keep the scapula on the floor though. And in this pelvic curl, I want your hips to remain square to the ceiling, and you're going to exhale to lift one leg. Don't let one hip bone drop when that happens. You're going to tap the floor with those toes 5 times. Tap, return, tap, return. Exhale to lift that leg. Exhale to lift. Exhale, lift. Put the foot down now. Hold the pelvic curl. Keep breathing. Don't constrict your neck or throat. And without dropping the other hip, lift the other leg. Tap, exhale, lift. Tap, exhale, lift. Tap, lift, tap, lift. One more. Down comes the foot. Big breath and roll down through the spine. One vertebrae at a time until the tailbone is down for a rest. Grab onto one hamstring, and I want you to use that leg as a lever to help you sit up. Take your hands behind you and straighten the legs out in line with your hips. Placing the palms down flat on the floor, straight arms. I want you to open your collarbone and lift your sternum, proud chest. I want you to exhale, engage your abs firm across your belly. Think almost pubic bone to nose and press up with your legs and bum. Allow your head to just recline backwards as though you're on a lounge chair. Keep your collarbone and chest tall as you sit your bottom back down for a brief tap on the floor, and then exhale and rise again. And lower down. All right, that back support position is going to be our position as we do some leg pulls. So, keeping the sternum proud and tall, lift your bottom by pushing with your legs. Now, you're going to pull one leg to the sky 5 times. Exhale to lift. Exhale to lift. Lift. Don't let your hips drop or your bum sag. One more. Put the foot down, stabilize in center. Remember to think pubic bone to nose. You're trying almost for posterior tilt. And we'll do the second leg. Exhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, exhale, inhale. Final time. And keep your chest tall, don't collapse. Sit the bottom down. Good. From here, swing your legs around behind you and take your hands and knees to the floor for a little quadrupedal position. Keep the collar wide. Don't let the neck drop, guys. I want you to hold the head up so the nose and the eyes are pointed at the floor, but they're pulling away from the floor so the back of your neck is long and your head is in line with your spine. Now from here, step out onto the ball of one foot. Without lifting your tailbone into the sky, step out to the other foot so you're into a front support position. Keep the belly lifted. Point one set of toes out behind you. Now using the hamstring and glute, lift that leg. Don't jackknife the spine. Keep the belly lifted as we lower and lift again. Lift, same leg, lift, 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 lift. Plant those toes. Again, you can think bias towards a posterior tilt, almost like you're trying to tuck your tail between your nose and then lift the other leg. Tuck your tail between your legs, I meant. Pubic bone to nose generates the same effect. Leg lifts with the other side. And bring that leg down. Walk one knee in. Walk the second knee in, sit back towards your feet, and for just a moment, hands down, relax your body, elbows and head towards the floor, into a rest position. Then you're gonna come on up, guys. All right, from here, move to your bottom. I'll turn to face the camera. Flex your feet, toes up, and stretch them out to the front. Open your arms to a T with your palms rotated up like you're holding a ball in each hand. Now, I'm not twisting from my shoulders. I'm going to use my core, internal, external obliques, and my abs lifted tall to my spine to help me rotate without changing the length. I don't want one leg to escape longer than the other. Once I get to my maximum, I exhale and use my obliques to twist a little more. Come home. Exhale. Exhale deeper for that additional activation. Come home. Exhale, belly to spine, deepen. It's important to note it's a deepening rather than a bounce. I'm not hitting and hitting again. I'm going to my max and deepening the rotation. And rotate, deepen. It's coming from my abs, not from the throwing of my arms. Once more each side. One last time. Good. Relax. From here, we're going to move to our side. Stretch out both legs and lean to the elbow. You can either have the hands flat here, which is a little bit more stable, or for additional challenge, you can take the elbow to the floor. Take your fingertips behind your ears and widen between the shoulder blades. Elbows should be visible in your peripheral, so don't open too wide or it'll knock your shoulder support out. Lift the top leg to hip height. Now, the objective is a stable pelvic lumbar region, so engage your core. You're going to flex the top foot, and as you exhale, swing it forward, pulse to deepen it. Swing it back, pulse to deepen. Try not to let your tailbone swing out. Keep your pelvis neutral. So I really have to engage my abs. The whole time, I'm also lifting underneath myself so that I don't drop into the ribs, using my lateral flexors to actually keep my trunk stable and steady. Good. Stack the legs, relax, and change sides. So maneuver around. Now I'll just move the microphone briefly. Stretching out. One hand underneath you. If you can, go straight to the elbow. Fingertips behind the ears. Don't rest your head in your hands. Elbows visible. Belly lifted, side supported. Take that foot off the floor. Flex it. Bring the leg forward, but don't stick out your bum. Keep your pelvis steady. Belly to spine, even as the leg swings back. Exhale as you go to the front, and think inhale as you stretch the leg to the back. Stay supported on that side. Good. Stack the legs and relax. Want you to, from this position, move to your back so you can catch your legs and lower yourself into the floor. We're going to get one more oblique and rotational activity in. Palms flat. Engage your abs to secure neutral spine. Bring up your legs one at a time and then stretch them to the sky. Similar to our spine twist supine, you're going to rotate to one side. Swoop down in a little circle, rolling around the sacrum. Bring your legs up the other side, up towards you, and return neutral. Then reverse the process. Side, swoop down and around, lift, and home. Rotate, try to keep the legs the same length. Lower, swoop, and lift. Rotate, keep the legs together at the same length. And rotate, around, and lift, rotate. Don't hyperextend, no pinching in the lumbar. Rotate, belly flat to secure and keep your spine neutral. Last rotation, neutral. Now bend. Walk your feet down, guys, and have a little rest. From there, we're going to roll over to our belly. So I want you to just make your way onto your front side. From here, you can turn your head sideways so you can see your screen. Lace your fingers behind your back and just let the elbows fall open. The higher you can have your hands while your elbows touch the ground, the better. Bring your legs together. Now, your muscles need to lift to support and protect your lower back, so lift your abdominals up. What this means for the skeleton is you'll feel the hip bones pulling up away from the floor, and you'll probably feel a little feedback into the mat of your pubic bone pressing down. This means that your skeleton's in the right place and your muscles are doing the right thing. From here, lift your legs up off the ground so your knees are no longer touching. Try to pump the heels towards the hamstrings, not so far that it becomes easy, but just enough to get the weight of the legs. Pump, pump, pump. Stretch the legs without putting down the knees. Stretch the hands down your bum and lift your thoracic spine without cranking your head up. Keep the back of the neck long. Change your face to look away for a moment and do the leg pumps again as your elbows relax to the floor. Pump, pump, pump. And stretch. Come down. Pump, pump, pump. Exhale. Come down, pump, 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 and stretch. Pump, 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 and stretch. Last time. Pump, 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 and stretch. Come down, make a little pillow for your hands and rest a moment. From here, guys, just one final stretch. Keep your left hand on the floor. Head can rest on the forearm for a moment. Catch the right foot with your right hand. Now, don't forget the muscular setup. Lift your abs up and bring the pubic bone into the floor as your hip bones rotate up out of the floor. Push your foot into your hands, and now lift your upper back again, not your lumbar back, no pinching in the lower back. You get a nice spinal extension here. And again, I'm not cranking my head, I'm just allowing my head to ride the spine. I melt back down, and I'm going to repeat. The abdominals lift the hip bone away from the floor. I press my foot into my hand and open up my chest. Then I come back down. Let's get the other side. Swap hands. Grab the left foot with your left hand. Lift the abs first, pubic bone to floor. Press the foot into the palm and open up the spine. It's a precursor to the rocking prep, so a modification. Come back down and then repeat. Press the foot into the hand, open up the thoracic spine, and down you come. If you want to go for the full rocking prep, take both hands, don't let your nose smash into the floor, lift your belly, push both feet into the hands, and allow your thoracic spine to come up, but don't hang the head. No impaling yourself, just float up, melt back down, keep the belly lifted and the hips retracted away from the floor. Push your feet into your hands, and then melt back down. Release the feet, put the palms underneath you, press your tailbone back to your feet, bury your head and elbows down, and have a couple of breaths to relax. Then come on up all fours, get your feet underneath you into a little crouch. And I want you to just roll up to standing, starting by straightening your legs. Keep your head down and come up from the tailbone through the middle back to the upper back. Finally, the neck and the head as the collarbone opens. Take some deep breaths so you don't get lightheaded. And thank you very much. That's class. I hope you've enjoyed and found this beneficial. And hopefully I'll get to see you again soon back here at the Sports Center in not too long.